in control of C main now. Fancy, they're sort of shoehorned into this A hit, but look at the rotation from the Fade and the Breach. They already know where they need to attack from. The Haunt won't hit BADlove, however, you know what will hit him? That may be the bullets he's about to fire. Shots, shoots a few off, it's laboured. YESicaN will eventually fall, switches to the classic, and more importantly, doesn't leave. You know Suka's due the swing, eventually he's caught out, but Logi already backside, readily available. Good for the trade now. Fade on fade action is going to leave the rotation
30 seconds left.
Desired. With the flank coming, it will be able to smoke the trademark, and with that, Paradox now slowly start his rotation. There is a flank from the chamber in mid, but he too has been spotted out right now. Flanks on flanks on flanks. The boom bop is going to prevent the plants, and that is going to allow the follow-up swing from BADhawk, who's good for the first. With that, continues this rampage. nizzy left alone in a 1 versus 3. Low HP, finished off by Logi. Fancy just 2.
Or they are going home, and certainly starting with that first round win under their pocket, that's going to go a lot better for them. But, you know, I spoke about initial engagements and forcing that one in your favor. There we go. nizzy getting that pick onto BADlove, as Pillars is also making their way aggressively here into this B side, but they're shut down actually by blackhawk. The second one down to Physio, another one by Whimp, and there we go, a free K
behind them. YESicaN sort of provided that on the Phoenix, where he was very comfortable to just run it down a lot of positions. But as you see the sort of util combos coming out from Revenant, this is the aggression of Revenant we were expecting. A 3-player commitment to try and take a main here. Physio hiding in the Omen smoke might be able to be a little bit closer than expected, but I don't know about that.
But this is it. Fancy aren't going to expect that so many of them are stacked up there, just ready and waiting. And Physio's in a really awkward position because that's 3 potential angles that can be used against him right now. So he can't really move. Someone has to enable this gunfight to happen now, because these players need to start dropping. I mean, that's certainly going to help a little bit. The smoke going out can kind of benefit both sides here as they can reposition themselves. And again, Physio just waiting, holding that angle, making sure that push can't come. And it's getting into a little bit of a standoff here. BADlove holding this really tight angle here, waiting for that push to start to come towards C. And there we go. Beautiful shot there. YESicaN falling down, and already the pressure certainly is starting to be applied, and it's really good stuff from Revenant. nizzy though with the trade on the Paradox. blackhawk falls too, but Whimp ready and waiting, shuts down nizzy before they can cause any more kerfuffle.
Down to the 3 versus 3. BADlove going to look to level the playing field before Physio chimes back in, leveling it back to a 2 versus 2. Having spotted out both players in Garage as well, this is going to embolden Physio to push all the way around to Garage. The Prowler knows that these players are trying to push with the swing. Suka, the pre-fire hits him down very low. Physio's timing is everything here. Spots out the breach, out goes Whimp, and now for Logi, he has to dance around this site. Still unable to find anyone, playing for timing. Here's the shots, but it's all delay strat tactics right now. Logi hoping someone will dare peek him. Anyone will dare peek him, but Physio is
A as well. I think that's really spicy, because I've really started off by the pressure and burn out that timer, as both sides were kind of forced into a little bit of a standoff. But again, as I often say, time is the 6th defender. If you are attacking, you need to be mindful of how much time you're wasting and what control you actually have under your belt, because times she can be a cruel mistress. For now, though, the aggression's kind of stopped a little bit. We do see Paradox and Logi looking to kind of have a second shenanigan of the same, but it does seem like Paradox is retreating back, as potentially they think that push may come from elsewhere. But look at how safe and cautious Revenant are playing it, Krem.
I like how they've suddenly backed off, realizing that there's going to be a very, very big push coming from Fancy here. Logi going to be deploying that Haunt early on. It's going to get a lot of information, especially when he hears 2 or 3 players end up trying to destroy it. Fancy changed the pace now. 45 seconds left. They get ready to assault this A site with no control elsewhere on the map. It's got to be a hit to A now. But he blinded everyone back. Stop. The flashes are perfect from the breach, but the delay is there. nizzy can't push because of the C's. Logi now going to try and capitalize on it. Accompanied by Whimp. It's a to and fro that eventually goes in favor of Fancy. 3 versus 2. BADlove just able to avoid the aftershocks, but can't push past that. Paranoia's going to buy a bit of space here, but unable to find where the crossfires are. Physio just plucked them both out.
A heavy team versus a kind of more of an aggressive, mechanically based game from Fancy. And this could be quite spicy indeed. BADlove waiting to get up close and personal, but YESicaN is actually going to shut that down. So it's the opening engagement. Once again, a second one there, very much going in the favor of Fancy right now. And 3 players of Revenant remaining across 3 sites. Make that 2 uncomfortable times ahead, especially now blackhawk has to somehow defend 3 sites by himself. It's not gonna happen. There we go, Suka able to...
VODS and blackhawk both currently the top fraggers for their team.
Absolutely. Again, we're already getting a little bit scrappy around this util. It's something we're seeing every round again, is just this immediate congestion from both sides and how up close and personal, but the cover's just stopping these gunfights from happening. And I mean, speaking of gunfights, here we go, the spray and pray to try and get some damage onto nizzy, and that is nizzy actually being tagged up severely there.
That is going to hurt, that's for sure. But now nizzy, though, despite his low HP, he is going to try and make his way back onto this site. He's struggling for the time being. Logi looking to deliver that killing blow. The rest of Fancy will prepare this hit over to A. Oh, nizzy's so brave to keep fighting like this. He may be wounded, but heaven can wait. We've got a round to win. Blackhawk hit by the Prowler. He's going to try and get away here. Eventually his teleport will land, but he's teleporting straight into the Rolling Thunder, lasting him to the back of that site. Counter Rolling Thunder is going to buy a bit of space, though. Alongside the Horn, Paradox is just going to swing off the back of this. Swings out for the first, gets 2, gets 3 with the assistance of Logi. And with that, Fancy are just halted in their tracks now. 20 seconds left, and there's no way for them to get elsewhere. There is a From the Shadows to retrieve the spikes. They're going to try and gun it to this C site. But BADlove now in mid. Is he spotted out? Yes, he is. This is the damage for Fancy trying to start stacking up now. And retrieving the spikes suddenly become very, very interesting for Fancy. Especially as they thrust us into an afterplant. Blackhawk. I love the counter use of that From the Shadows to get into C long. But this is heard by VODS now. Killers over towards mid. Has to get so much mileage here.
Player standing.
Oh! Paradox being a big down to VODS. Killers finishing off Logi, but there we go. Whimp is able to get that final kill, and that defuse can go down, but I mean, goodness me, it's getting a little bit confusing, I think, on the side of Fan are doing a really, really good job of it.
They really are, actually, and for Fancy, it feels like they may have to up their game a little bit on Haven, because Revenant have found their footing. In a sense, stumbling, but something to mention is that even though they won that round, they committed a lot. The From the Shadows, the Tour de Force, the Nightfall, and the Rolling Thunder. Over on Fancy, it was only 3 ults. They do go with this with a bit of an advantage, but that showstopper on Paradox may be that big difference maker. VODS, close to his smoke, knows that there could be a push from Revenant, as they have shown that they are quite keen on taking map control in their sort of defensive default.
100%. A little bit of pressure being applied to mid. I think that's really where they're expecting this push to come from. It looks like the rotation to C is going to come through, but BADlove once again ready and waiting. No nasty shot this time, but they are aware and they will be calling out that that full team collapse is coming. So even though they've died, that all-important intel is there for the side of Revenant right now. And here we go, it's going to get scrappy. There we go, 1 pick for Blackhawk, taking down to the rest, and a ton of util being dumped on both sides to try and maintain this site control
down,
as best as they can. A 2 versus 3 beautiful shot there by YESicaN. Can they get a second now?
Standing.
Yes, they can. nizzy as well taking on Logi, and
works out beautifully. 4-3 the scoreline now, and Revenant down to a fairly weak buy here. Due to that, some aggression comes out.
absolutely, but ready and waiting for them is Killers. There we go. Ooh. Beautiful shot there by BADlove, actually shutting down that hold. But again, the information is going to come through, so we're going to see YESicaN trying to maintain a little bit of composure, trying to hold on to prevent any flankaroonie from coming through, any aggressive push from that C side. Now as well, it looks like Logi is trying to contest this A long, but from a more passive distance. So that could be something for Fancy to try and do. But again, the crossfires that can be held right now by Revenant, they're really able to land their shots now and work that duo play to their advantage. So it's going to be a little bit spicy really for Fancy to have to contest it. That looks like what they're going to try and do. It literally looks like they're going for it, Krem. So here we go. The util going out just to make sure that no one is hiding in these ratty spots. And here we go. That's certainly going to alert them. The Paradox is waiting around this corner like a ghost in the night. And Rolling Thunder going out. And does it concuss anyone? I'm not entirely sure. But nizzy is going to get a beautiful shot there onto Logi. Paradox gets the trade-off pretty quickly. So already, again, it's becoming very, very scrappy. 20 seconds or so on the clock, and they need to make this work. YESicaN. Beautiful pick down to Whimp. Paradox onto Suka. Suka. Visio getting that pick onto Paradox as well, and it's a 2 versus 2 potential post-ban. Yes, indeed it is. And I mean, this has just been glorious so far to actually witness. Again, I love the scrappiness. I really love to see it, but the post-plant is an all-important time where it matters. And yes, I can gain that pick onto blackhawk. I don't know if BaDlove is aware. Yes, they are. That trade coming through, but a scrappy 1 versus 1 is about to happen. And there we go, Visio by the skin of...
What I love is we saw the use of that seize. This is in a company with the aftershocks and the faint shells. It just instantly catches out some of these players. nizzy has to back off from the horns. However, that has allowed Paradox to get forwarded angle. Spotted out by Visio is going to deter Paradox from doing anything too wild just yet. The operator in mid now, BADlove. He just needs even a shoulder, an elbow to peek out. Maybe using a kneecap. And that could be the opening Revenant are looking for here. This duel between BADlove and nizzy. We haven't seen the operators clash just yet. But the second we do see that duel of fates, I think that may be indicative as to who may be able to take this map. As Fancy, slowly but methodically, set their gaze towards mid and list slightly over towards this B site.
You're certainly going to delay that collapse a bit, but killoress with that beautiful pick there is going to enable it a little bit more for its teammates. No immediate trade for the side of Revenant due to all that lines of sight being shut off. The overextension here just to make sure those rotations can't come through. killoress very hungry for it. nizzy, beautiful pick there onto Paradox as well. They're aware that Logi is around this corner. Yes, they are. Suga's going to get that beautiful pick there, and poor blackhawk and BADlove have to try and go for this retake. Are they aware of nizzy? I think they might be, to be honest. Again, not really wanting to immediately contest this angle. This could get nasty very, very quickly if nizzy times this right. That is a head dropping down. blackhawk, beautiful pick, but are they aware that nizzy is waiting like a snake in the grass, ready to go for the strike? Ladies and gentlemen, this could be nasty. You have to try and get into sight. There we go. blackhawk falls down, and poor BADlove left in a 1 versus 4 post-plant. They just have to save.
BADlove, 1 versus 4. What can he hope to do here? Just a chance to hold on to the weapon. Latibulates in the corner.
Because already they're using so much utility to really delay and burn out that time. They're doing a really good job of it. So maybe having BADlove here holding this along line of sight may help. It's at least something. It's at least a little bit of gumption to the punch that they want to try and do. Albeit a pretty weak one. Again, the guns that they have in pocket not being ideal. A few pre-fires here and there, but as for now, once again, the quiet before the storm, and these ships are going to try and sail towards killoress right now. There we go. Beautiful pick there onto blackhawks, but Paradox shuts it down. The importance of those duo swings, ladies and gentlemen. No immediate clapback just yet. These tight angles, Krem. I mean, how do you like those apples? There we go. Suka, beautiful pick there onto Logi. Already whittling down the defense. Again, Paradox on the tiniest bit of health at the moment, so ideally maybe a bait and switch at the end, or really relying on that util use. nizzy, beautiful shot down to Whimp as well, so it gets even worse right now for the side of Revenant. No sight control being maintained just yet, though, and again, the timer is ticking. They have to commit to an execute, because while you may have those kills in your favor, you still need to get that spike down, and BADlove's going to be calling that out. They know that they have to start rotating, so what do you do?
Spike dropped.
Well, for BADlove, it's just a chance to save again. There's no other choice here. I like how they're sort of bouncing around who plants. Surprisingly, it's YESicaN who already has his ultimate available. But for Paradox, 5 HP, saving a weapon here would be nice, but it looks like Fancy are all in positions that can be traded, or even if they die, that Vandal won't be able to be retrieved here. Paradox hoping for timing. Paint shells are going to buy a bit of space. Fortunately, it's only space for his death. And now for Fancy, oh, the pack's out. They're on a hunt, and they're hungry for operator. For BADlove, in a bit of an unorthodox position, so that might buy him a bit of space, but these fault lines might have to send shivers down the spine of BADlove. Suka continues his hunt, just avoiding BADlove. He may have outmaneuvered his adversaries for the time being. Fancy, they'll lead at 7-3 off the bat.
Up of their own. Once again, early round aggression when it comes to this util, just to really hold back these pushes for as long as possible.
Now, Fancy taking a slow but steady approach. Once again, they really have just changed their pace. when they move on to this next map. And having seen Breeze, having seen Ascent, you'd expect Fancy to be up in the face of Revenant. They've completely U-turned. And right now, Revenant don't seem to have a way to solve this enigma as Fancy just probe about. I think they're trying to identify where this operator is on BADlove, and they're either going to just focus it or they're going to avoid it completely with very little in between. Looks like the call's been made. The rotation comes to A. The ping's on long and it's going to be accompanied by a haunt, which Logi will initially destroy, but Logi may have to fall back if he's not careful here. That Rolling Thunder is going to be crucial as to delay tactics for the time being. Paradox near-sighted, not concussed, but has to be forced away off the back of that aftershock. As Rolling Thunder comes out. Nightfall accompanies it. Paradox tries to avoid everything for the time being. But there's the Showstopper, going for the first Whimp, and Logi trying back in. YESicaN follows it up though, and for a second there it looks like that could have been doable for Revenant, but no, despite the smorgasbord of deaths, BADlove left it at 1 versus 2. 2 swift bullets to the cranium of the remaining players of Fancy. And as those bullets go skull mush, skull wool, any thoughts Fancy had about taking the 9th?
For Revenant, yes, granted, Fancy are currently a few rounds ahead, but again, remember, we are on Haven right now, and that attacking side is so much more favourable.
Well, it could be now. Look at this aggression now from BADlove, the tour de force duel, and nizzy draws first blood. The operator's still available for Paradox, so this was a sort of pseudo double op setup for Fancy here. But it's still not a pretty position at all.
Bring them down.
Alrighty, so blackhawk and Logi trying to make their way to get a bit of pressure here. There we go, that's certainly going to do it. Suka falling down, so I saw that Fade utility ripped from the hands of Fancy right now, and 4 versus 4. Paradox holding a very tight angle. Can they land this shot? As we said, a pseudo snipe fest, and there we go. Beautiful shot there. Killer's actually falling down. Paradox getting to this really high position too. Doing their best Obi-Wan Kenobi impression. Quite land that shot, but the boombot's going to go out and allow them a little bit of breathing room as they try to open it. Shut down by nizzy, but actually nizzy gets a post-mortem trade there. Beautiful stuff. Scrappy on both sides again. The plant needs to go down. It's going to go down very nicely, tucked down in that hell position. I think once again, Revenant ready and waiting. They know exactly what's going to happen, and they're using their util to the best they can. Beautiful shot there. Beautiful duo play there as Physio falls down, and YESicaN in a 1 versus 2. There we go. Beautiful cleanup there. The side of Revenant getting their 5th round on the table, and again, how much is this going to benefit them? How much of those 5 defensive rounds going to benefit them once they go onto that attacking half? I feel like, you know, this is just going to be absolutely insane on both sides now. I think it's still going to be incredibly close.
Nizzy, going to be the first player to be tested here. Tries to get away, but Paradox gets to it just the final moment. Down to the 5 versus 4, and for, well, I mean, look at fancier positions. They're nowhere near where this retake's going to be needed. BADlove already tucked in window. Oh, and it's a collateral. Both players, good night. And with that, Fancy a 2 versus 5. Dear God. BADlove.
It's a really comfortable position for them to be in right now. There's at least one BADlove falling down. Charlotte goes out, but again, you have to try and force this fuse, but they can't. And poor YESicaN tucked in a really awkward position right now. The swings can come out to trade it.
Well, he's wrong. So we can take solace in that. But for Fancy, it's going to be very difficult to take solace in the fact that that 3-0 dream may not come true.
100%. That's going to probably rustle their jimmies a little bit. But again, as we've said, Revenant currently on boot camp. I love the fact that they just have not been rattled at all by the fact that they're currently 2-0 down. And you know, I think it's pretty easy. You can guess where this collapse is coming from. So Killer S is going to try and get a little bit aggressive there, holding back the execute for as long as possible. The rest of Fancy start to make their way into the site too. There we go. The opening picks going in favour of Revenant. One for Logi, one for BADlove. Can that trade come through? Yes, it can. Suka's able to shut down Logi. Fade on fade action, as we like to see. 3 versus 4 for this defense. Suka trying to get bossy with it, but blackhawk falls down. YESicaN trades it out. Paradox with another trade. YESicaN with another trade of their own. Again, a really scrappy fight, really, to be honest. But in this midst of this action, Revenant have actually been able to take back control of C, and now they're in a very comfortable post plant. YESicaN has to deal in a 1 versus 2 retake with no information at all as to where these players may be lurking. So again, the slow approach needs to come through. Ideally trying to bait out these players into 1v1s, and this is where it can get a little bit uncomfortable. Players goes for the swing, but Whimp is there, ready and waiting. Beautiful angle being held.
This is where things get interesting, isn't it, Grace? We have a game on our hands. What I quite like is Fancy, they did do a little bit of damage with their pistols, but Fancy's pistols for Logi, who's being a bit cheeky with his bonus. And for Fancy, this is a very heavy commitment outside of C long, but for Revenant, it's the same commitment.
Yes, indeed. We are seeing a bit of a push here by Eslo, and leading the way. There we go. Trades coming through on both sides. Rolling Thunder goes out to try and apply a little bit of extra pressure. Swift rotation to A, but we're ready and waiting will be nizzy. I mean, we've seen nizzy pop off before, but again, an uncomfortable position to be in. Paradox getting that beautiful pick there, shutting him down, but now that information has been fed. Rotation needs to come through from the side of Fancy. Look at all this control that Revenant now have. Beautiful shot there, just ready and waiting for YESicaN to fall into their arms. And Fisio can't really delay this plan. They're being held back by so much util there. Here we go. It is a post-plan retake now for the side of Fancy, and they really need to find these heads of these players. A very dangerous situation to be in, a 3 versus 4 with no information. Now you have at least the information as to where Paradox is, but Paradox is feeling a little bit fraggy themselves. There we go, the trade comes through.
Able to match Paradox, and it feels like he's having to list on the rest of Fancy to have that S factor. Nizzy as well, one of the title players of Fancy, also having a relatively quiet game. Back off for the time being, only 60 HP to his name. With the rest of Fancy, yes, they try and aggress, yes, they have a main control, but the trade-off is they've completely lost C sight.
100%, and that plant once again is going down, but a 5v5 retake. I mean, this excites me, certainly so. This is going to get scrappy very quickly, and BADlove in this large overextension holding this flank. This could be massive. There we go, taking down Fisio as Killer S falls too. Really, really good positioning now from the side of Revenant. Paradox taking out Suka, but nizzy trades it back out, but again, a 2v3. Well, actually, Big Fella 1v3 now, as multiple kills on both sides start to spiral through for nizzy in a very uncomfortable position. Spots at least one, but that call out is going to come through, and there we go. Logi with a very tight angle there is able to
pushed with it, but it's not been anything to break the streak of Revenant, who I believe this is now 6 on the bounce. Which Fancy haven't been able to stop. Here's some aggression in mid now. I like to see it. Unfortunately, unable to get that opening kill. And off the back of that information, look at this sprint, the gauntlet that Revenant were ready to run over to A now. I mean, forced nizzy back, that operator is going to have some serious trouble, especially when bombarded with utility from the center of A site.
100%. A very delayed execute at the moment, though, and that's going to allow a lot of breathing room for Fancy to get into some more favourable positions, so to speak. But maybe an additional flankaroonie coming through from Suka would benefit them. But again, as you can see, BADlove is not willing to let that happen. The positioning from Revenant has been absolutely on form this map, and here we go, the util coming out, but more util to try and delay that execute as a Rolling Thunder comes through. Beautiful shot there by nizzy. YESicaN taking out Logi too. Yes, we've seen that ult from Paradox, but again, the breathing room they need has been absolutely taken away from them right now. Fancy really clinging on by the skin of their teeth. And here we go. Paradox is actually able to sneak behind them and get those picks. And goodness me, Paradox, how can you do it to them?
Fortunately for Fancy, this team is killing these players.
Let's play.
Yes, there's a tour de forces from both players, but with Stingers, Sheriffs, there's a Guardian on YESicaN. The weaponry on Fancy is so weak. Revenant just needs to start isolating these 1v1s once again.
1v1s indeed, and that's the issue, isn't it? If you allow yourselves to be put into 1v1 engagements where it can be a very hit or miss situation. I love the duo things that we're seeing from Revenant, and again, the positioning is so important right now, and I can't stress that enough. The way that they're just allowing Fancy to kind of fall into their trap almost. It's been really gorgeous every time. Looks like they're pushing into Garage Foe, and there we go. We're going to see a massive dump of util here. As actually the ult from the Raze is going to come through, but BADlove, beautiful pick there onto Suka. That's going to at least cause a little bit of a pushback here. Blackhawk onto YESicaN too, so already a lot of breathing room being maintained, but nizzy ready and waiting to get that trade-off. Bit of an awkward situation now as to bring around the Rosies tight around the corner. There we go. Logi is actually able to take down Killer S, and Paradox as well, taking down Fisio. Poor nizzy left in a 1 versus 4. This is a moment where it's like, okay, realistically, do you try and contest this fight? You can do if you want to. You need to bait out these 1v1 zone. It's not going to be the easiest job because, again, as I say, Revenant have been absolutely on top form with their positioning, and there's where I say it. They're that all-important match point, and it will be their first map on the board for the series. Again, still not going to jinx it, Krem, but things are certainly going to get interesting. Immediate pressure being applied by the side of Revenant towards this C site. So, again, the rotation's actually going to come through pretty quickly from Fancy this time.
Fancy were at least able to stop the push this time. Yes, there is a big commitment of ults on both sides here, but Revenant now, they just get ready to hit this site. Eventually, Fancy are able to get there to stop it. There's going to be that follow-up aggression with the Rolling Thunder. Paradox is going to eat it down to 4v4. Unfortunately for Fancy, it's another retake Grace. And with that, YESicaN is going to get caught, will deliver that killing blow as well. Waiting in harmony with his teammates. There is going to be a moment of that Zoom bot, going to try and garner a bit of space here. Seas won't quite land though, but as the 3 versus 3.
Fancy pull this back 3 rounds. So again, you're going to start to set the momentum. Can Revenants get to match point? Ironically, Fancy once again trying to go for a bit of early round aggression, and this is what they actually needed to do from the get-go. Play into what they did. Beautiful shot there by Killer S, but it's immediately traded back out by Blackhawk, having a phenomenal game themselves. And here we go, Fancy trying to get a little bit aggro with it, trying to really delay this push up. Prowler's going to go out and really alert them as to where this push is going to come from. So that Rolling Thunder yet again is going to go out, and this is already looking so much better for Fancy. They're able to contest. Well, as I say, that Blackhawk with a little swing around, shutting down YESicaN, but Suka is able to get that pick, and Whimp ultimately able to trade that out themselves as well.
Last player standing.
Ooh, beautiful shot there by Whimp.
Shot.
Really alleviating the pressure that these defenders were bringing, and now it's a very awkward 3 versus 1. At this point, it's the idea of, well, do you save or do you try and contest this? Again, time it is ticking. It's such a large map to try and go for this retake with. A lot of util in pocket, however. They do have the ult up as well, but is it too much too soon? Very, very strong attack from Revenant, despite, again, Fancy's best efforts to try and delay it for now. They know exactly where Fisio is going to come from. There we go. Logi ready and waiting, goes for the swing out. Beautiful pick in the early stages, went how it should have gone for them in theory, but that's what we needed from the very start of the map. We needed to see Fancy do fancy things. It's the thing they do best. They go for these aggressive pushes together and they win those gunfights, but they've fallen into a trap here a little bit. What Revenant wanted to bring to the table, for the most part, is that's just nasty. Fisio falling down after that ult hits him in the face. A beautiful pick down to YESicaN as well, and nizzy, rightly so, is going to go for a rotation to try and get a different angle. Nobody wants to contest that right now, and that spike goes down as a result. Close-up angle here. I'm not sure if Killer S is actually aware of it, but they're going to be aware now because look at this, the silent sneak. This could be horrendous right now for the side of Fancy because they are not aware at all. Yes, we got that pick. There we go, the beautiful 2K there by BADlove before Killer S can shut it down. Finally, a 1 versus 3. They have to get up close and personal, and what can you do? There we go, a beautiful map there by Revenant, and finally clawing back a map of themselves, and that means we're going to map number 4, Krem.
I'm a very happy man. Revenant, they strike back. They don't allow Fancy to have the clear route into the finals, and they're going to have to